Hey, I'm Justin. I wish I was a little bit taller fraction, back with another TPS update. When a team has a franchise superstar to build around, you like to think he stays there for the rest of his prime years. But for some different reasons, some star athletes leave their teams, and it allows the club to find a suitable replacement. And sometimes it absolutely worked to perfection in the long run, even though it was a bold call to let a superstar leave. And today, TPS presents 10 times a superstar was shockingly replaced. And a big shout out to Highlight History for suggesting this list. We hope you enjoyed, and if you do leave your ideas down below, you never know, we might use one and give you a shout out. Steve Nash. Nash and Dirk Nowitzki. It was one lethal and scary combo. Problem is, Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban wanted to invest his future in a younger and bigger Nowitzki, so Nash joined the Phoenix Suns in the 2004 offseason. Looking for a replacement, the Mavs acquired Jason Terry from the Atlanta Hawks in a blockbuster trade. Though not MVP caliber, Terry was an excellent setup man for Dirk and a supreme outside shooter. Terry and the Mavs won the NBA championship in 2011, so moving on from Nash and getting his replacement was well worth it. Drew Bledsoe. Bledsoe came into his own as a star quarterback for the New England Patriots in the 90s. He guided them to a Super Bowl 31 berth, though they fell to the Green Bay Packers. In 2001, the Patriots handed Bledsoe a 10-year contract worth $103 million. But in week 2 of that season, Bledsoe took an ugly hit out of bounds which led to a sheared blood vessel that almost killed him. Some little-known guy by the name of Tom Brady came off the bench and never relinquished his job. All he did was win 5 Super Bowls with this team, and yeah, Brady's pretty good now. Bledsoe was traded to the Buffalo Bills after the Patriots' Super Bowl 36 triumph. Mike Vernon. The Detroit Red Wings recycled through goaltenders in the 80s and 90s, desperately looking for the right goalie to help them win their first Stanley Cup since 1955. In 1994, the Calgary Flames traded Vernon to the Detroit Red Wings. He and Chris Osgood shared the crease over the next 3 seasons, but it was Vernon who led Detroit to the Stanley Cup in 1997. However, Detroit opted to trade him to the San Jose Sharks that offseason. Osgood became the starter and would backstop the Red Wings to a repeat in 1998, plus another Stanley Cup 10 years later. Wayne Rooney. Manchester United's all-time goal scorer leader, played with the franchise from 2004 to 17. Rooney and Man U won 5 EPL championships together, asserting his legacy with one of the world's most iconic sports clubs. But after the 2017 season, Rooney opted to join his home team Everton. He was starting to decline in production and had cost Man U way too much money. The good news? Manchester United has a fine replacement in French star Paul Pogba. He's 8 years younger than Rooney and will lead the next era of Man U greatness. Drew Brees. The San Diego Chargers drafted Brees 32nd overall in 2001. Brees spent just 5 seasons with the team, growing into one of the game's passing leaders. Nonetheless, the Chargers drafted Eli Manning 1st overall in 2004 before flipping him to the New York Giants for Phillip Rivers. The Chargers tried re-signing Brees after the 2005 season, but he opted to join the New Orleans Saints on a $60 million deal. The Chargers rolled with Rivers, who also grew into an elite top-tier quarterback. Worked out for both sides now, didn't it? Brett Favre. The idea of Brett Favre leaving Green Bay was ludicrous. He won 3 MVPs and led them to a pair of Super Bowl appearances, winning one of them. The gunslinger also once held the records for most passing yards and touchdowns in a career, but Favre kept going back and forth on retirement. When he retired, then opted to keep playing in 2008. The Packers said too bad and rolled with Aaron Rodgers while shipping Favre to the New York Jets. Favre played 3 more years in the NFL, while Rodgers has grown into a Super Bowl champion and 2-time MVP. That is how you replace a superstar, folks. Rogie Vachon. Vachon was one of the top goalies in the 60s and 70s, winning the Canada Cup with, well, Team Canada in 1976. He also won the Vezina Trophy as the league's top goalie in 1968, while backstopping the Montreal Canadiens to a pair of Stanley Cups. But prior to the 1971 playoffs, the Canadiens called up Ken Dryden to give Vachon a rest. He won all 6 starts and was named Montreal's goalie for the postseason. Dryden would go on to lead Montreal to the 1971 Stanley Cup. Vachon demanded and received a trade to the Los Angeles Kings. Meanwhile, Dryden would win 5 more cups with Montreal. Peyton Manning. The Indianapolis Colts drafted Peyton Manning 1st overall in 1998. He turned them into one of the NFL's best teams, leading them to a Super Bowl 41 championship and Super Bowl 44 appearance. Manning won 4 MVPs with the Colts and broke a ton of records with the franchise, but a neck injury forced him to miss the entire 2011 season. Indy ended up finishing in last place that season, earning them the 1st overall pick in the 2012 draft, so they chose to release a 36-year-old Manning and drafted Andrew Luck. Manning would join the Denver Broncos and win a Super Bowl. Luck became one of the game's top young quarterbacks. A win-win for both sides. Wally Pipp. Pipp became one of baseball's top first basemen in the 1910s and 20s. A career .281 hitter, the New York Yankees star also led the American League in home runs twice. But in a 1925 game, Pipp reportedly had a bad headache and was given the day off. The Yankees put in Lou Gehrig, and history was forever changed. Gehrig was a 7-time All-Star, won 2 AL MVPs, and led the Yankees to 6 World Series championships. He also played in 2,130 consecutive games thanks to Pipp taking the day off. Pipp was then traded to the Cincinnati Reds. He was quoted as saying that he had taken the 2 most expensive aspirins in history. We agree. Joe Montana. Montana led the San Francisco 49ers to 4 Super Bowl championships, won 3 Super Bowl MVPs and 2 regular season MVP awards. He was hands down the NFL's top quarterback in the 80s. There was no touching Joe Cool. An elbow injury forced Montana to miss the entire 1991 season, and he played just 1 game in 1992. Lefty Steve Young came in and carried the 49ers on his back. Younger and healthier, Young was chosen to be the successor to Montana, who was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The 49ers made a bold call trading away the GOAT, but Young would lead the 49ers to a Super Bowl 29 victory, while Montana played just 2 years with KC before retiring. Nobody replaced a star the way Young did with Montana. What a story. What other superstars were shockingly replaced? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the videos. We'll see you guys next time.